Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Egoqueen. Love me, I know you do. And welcome to Adeptus Podcastus. Once again, I'm joined by Remleiz.
Hello everyone.
And Michael from Tactical Imperialis.
Evening, or morning, whatever time it is where you are.
Or when they see this.
Or whatever, yeah.
Dead silence.
Good start.
Yeah, no,
Good
it's
start.
a good start. It's a good start. I was expecting one of you to say something stupid.
Isn't that your job?
Hey, I'm trying to be more professional.
Yes, but you're kind of catch up to us.
Meh, details. Details.
But don't worry, Alexis. Remember, we're the most toxic members of the 40k community, remember? Apparently.
What?
Oh, yeah. Those comments on the last video, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Hang on. Did I not read my own comments?
No, it wasn't your video, Michael. It was someone else's.
Right.
I will give you more details later on. But
Sure thing.
a few of you out there will know what we're talking about. But I'm pretty sure most of you, whoever's making those comments is confusing us for some other people.
Oh.
Yeah, like me. Come on.
Well, it's a bit hard to confuse you, Alexis. Let's be honest.
Oh, the YouTube comment search is working. Yes.
Hooray!
Never works. Yes, so the questions will be easier today.
Alright. Well, are you guys going to say anything or what?
So, in the news this week, seems that's usually my job, as of the date of recording, which is August the 5th, Codex Chaos Space Marines and Codex Grey Knights are available. And you'll probably be playing with them already.
Which also means you can also get Grandmaster Voldus on his own as a standalone miniature for the first time as well.
Yes, you can. Hang on, putting a pizza in the oven.
And he didn't offer to get us a pizza. I'm offended.
I know, what a jerk. Like, he could have overnighted it to me, at least.
I bet he puts pineapple on it.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
No, the most disgusting, I've seen people put peas and mayonnaise on a pizza. That's disgusting.
Well,
Mayo
see,
on a pizza? Are you mad?
There
Peas
are
and mayonnaise
people
on pizza.
that just... These are why mutants exist in 40k. This is the exact reason. We need to stop this today.
It's why the Horus Heresy started, because Horus wanted pineapple on his pizza, and the Emperor was like, no!
Oh my god.
Pineapple, hit and miss on pineapple.
No, pineapple is gross on pizza. Pineapple is delicious on its own. Just saying.
Yeah, fair enough. So yes, before we get too sidetracked, in the news, we got all the Legion rules as of today, apart from the Alpha Legion. Death Guard and Thousand Sons are getting their own codex. I'm sure most of you know that already. So we have the rules as of today for the Emperor's Children, the Black Legion, the World Eaters, the Iron Warriors, the Night Lords, and the Word Bearers. And the Grey Knights.
Yes, but fuck the Grey Knights.
Hey, I like the Grey Knights. They're really powerful this edition.
Of course they are. They're always powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Like
weren't that
Grand-
powerful last edition. They were kind of just a meh army.
You can now put your Grandmaster in a baby carrier.
I know, isn't it adorable?
Yeah.
But can you put Caldor Draco in a baby carrier?
I
Oh my-
sincerely hope not.
I really hope so.
You know Alpha's
That would
going to do it anyway.
That would be amazing.
Look at me, I'm a big boy now!
I actually really do want a Caldor Drago model.
Yeah, fair enough. So, let's do what we did with the Space Marines last time. Let's run through the Legions, shall we?
Yes, let's start with the best Legion first. Let's start with the Night Lords.
Okay, I was going to start with probably the best trait, which is the Emperor's Children, but we'll do the Night Lords first, sure.
Oh, get fucked, Remleiz.
But no, the Night Lords one is good, but the Emperor's Children one is ridiculous. So, the Night Lords. Models in enemy units must attract 1 from their leadership characteristic for each unit with this trait that is within 6 inches of theirs to a maximum of -3.
That's actually really powerful. That means they have to kill 1 member of a tactical squad, and it's a -4.
Yeah, although if it's Ultramarines, it's +1, and they've got They Shall Know No Fear, so it's not so good against Marines. It's ridiculous against everybody else, though.
No, like, it's ridiculous on its own. Even with the reroll, a -5 or a -6 is going to kill a couple of tactical Marines.
It is pretty powerful, but like I tell you, with orcs, even with orcs who use mob rule, that's quite a big modifier, even to mob rule.
Yeah. Oh no, I like that one.
Yeah, we also have their Warlord trait, which is once per battle round you can reroll a single hit, wound, damage, advance, charge, or save for your Warlord. So you get basically 1 reroll a turn.
1 free reroll? That's kind of good.
It's per battle round, though, so you have to use it either on your turn or your opponent's. It's one or the other.
And it costs a command point, I'm assuming, right?
No, that's their warlord trait.
Oh, shit, that's even better.
Their relic is the Claws of the Black Hunt, which is a pair of lightning claws, so it's rerolls to wound, +1 attack, +1 strength, 3 rend, d3 damage.
Decent.
And we are also given access to a psychic power, Diabolic Strength. This is a non-aligned power. Pick a Heretic Astartes unit within 12 inches, casting value of 6, and it is +2 strength and +1 attack. That's not specifically for Night Lords, that's just a psychic power that everybody gets.
That's not bad either.
It is pretty good. And we
kind of reminds me of Hammerhand.
Kind of, yeah. We also have one of their stratagems, which is effectively the Raven Guard chapter tactic. So 1 command point, make an infantry unit be -1 to hit against for all hit rolls in a shooting phase. So pick it one of your units, it's now all units shooting at it, and -1 to hit that shooting phase.
Well, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, and you do it after your opponent is targeted, so that means that it can like really screw over overcharged plasma and things like that. That's what they recommend.
Yeah, especially being that -1 makes 2s overheat.
Correct.
And with the captain around, you can't re-roll those, because the captain only re-rolls natural 1s.
Yeah, also it screws over Necron Tesla, which I have a particular pet hate for.
Yeah, Necrons, they're something alright.
I will be done, Tesla. Yeah, I'm done with it already. Anyway, moving on. We have the Emperor's Children, who have effectively always strikes first.
Which is extremely good for melee troops, obviously.
It's horrendously good. It's ridiculous. So that means even if you get charged, you're going first, or you're going at the same time, or you're alternating with your opponent who's charging, which is really nasty.
That is amazing. I really like that.
We've also learned that Possessed gain a wound from last edition for no additional cost.
Okay, so they might almost be playable.
Yep, and a Slaneshi power that you might be interested in is Delightful Agonies. Warp charge 6, pick a Slanesh Heretic Astartes in 18, and it gains a 5+ feel no pain.
Alright, I like that.
You would.
Oh, of course I would. The Emperor's Children is my favorite traitor legion.
Then have
you play Death Guard.
Yeah, I kind of missed the ball on that one.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, I
we also
play
have...
Loyalist Death Guard. I have Garrow with me.
So when are you going to get Mortarium?
Oh dear.
I have no intention to.
There's also a Chaos Marine strategy. It's a stratagem. It's designed around Slanesh, but it's not just for Emperor's Children. So you can play this in standard Chaos, not Emperor's Children as well, with Mark of Slanesh, which gives double tap. So at the end of your shooting phase, pick a infantry or biker unit with the Mark of Slanesh. It can then shoot again. 2 command points.
That's actually really powerful on bikes, but
Havocs.
Havocs are really good. Oh, did you guys notice, in the index, a Havoc squad with all meltaguns is cheaper than a Chosen squad with all meltaguns?
I'm assuming Chosen have got more combat prowess, so that makes sense.
No! They're just bad.
Oh dear.
Like, I gotta check the new codex to see if they changed that yet, but, like, my buddy pointed this out to me. He's like, why the hell would you pick Chosen over Havocs? Havocs are cheaper.
I assume if you want to free up the heavy support slot, I suppose.
Yeah,
Now,
but you just take a different formation, not formation,
detachment,
and you have infinite access.
Yeah, it's possible. So, the Iron Warriors have exactly the same as the Imperial Fist, so ignores cover and rerolls to wound against buildings. That's their trait.
Appropriate.
We get a Tzeentch psychic power that you will be interested in, which is Warpcast 6. Pick a Heretic Astartes within 18 with the Mark of Tzeentch, and you get +1 invuln. Or 5 up invuln if they don't have one already.
Just a bunch of nerds.
Terminators now with the Mark of Tzeentch become ridiculously sticky.
What is that, a 4-up save? 4-up
It'll be a
info?
4-up invuln unless the Mark of Tzeentch gives an invuln boost as well. I don't think it does.
I still remember, speaking of Tzeentch Terminators, now I still remember back in 3rd edition when it came out, before the Chaos Codex came out, they released chapter approved rules for Traitor Legion Terminators.
Oh,
all right.
And Tzeentch Terminators were immune to weapon strength 4 or less.
What?
They were just flat out immune to them.
Oh god.
Did you actually see the chapter approved book coming out?
Yes.
No.
That I'm super excited for, because Croup Mercenaries might be a thing again.
Oh, that would be nice.
Look at Michael being unprofessional in his kitchen during our podcast and making
With his pineapple
pizza
pizza.
I'm not
with
making the
pineapples
pizza.
on it because he's a
there's
fucking
no,
cow.
there's no pineapples. There's no pineapple on the pizza, for crying out loud. I have standards.
Well,
Right.
you play Tau, so...
Hey, I also play orcs.
Okay, I'll give you that. You play the best
Yep.
and the worst.
So, the Iron Warrior's Relic is a 2+ armor save and regen of 1 wound per turn.
That's actually super good. Like, I've been spamming that with my Sisters of Battle as of late. Like, if you get an Imagifier and a Hospitaller, you can actually
Hospitaller.
revive two dead sisters a turn. So people will kill
This
my...
isn't revive, this is regen. But,
I know,
yeah.
but this is still cool.
Oh yeah, it is good.
Like, people will kill my Dominion squad down to, like, 1 member, and then they'll ignore it, thinking that it's too weak to continue fighting, and I'll just revive 2 members, and then just keep fighting.
I
And
get
people are
ya.
like, oh, shit. And the revive can actually come out in front of them, making the Melta range even better.
I get that. Their Warlord trait is 6-inch Aura of Fearless.
Fearless is really, really, really good this edition.
Indeed. So that's them. Now, the World Eaters, you Cornate fans out there, they got what the Black Templars ought to have got. +1 attack on the charge.
Removed from the Codex? Made into
No.
their own separate Codex? And actually decent? Because that's what the
Well-
Black Templars should have got.
Well, they've got +1 attack on the charge as their Legion trait.
Alright, fair enough.
They have a 3 command point stratagem, which is attack twice in melee for infantry or bikers.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Warp Talons with them. And Raptors. Raptors getting
Warp Talon's
what, like...
worth taking this time, because
Actually,
last
yes.
edition they were worse than Raptors.
Oh
I
god,
think-
yeah, they were
I think
awful.
Raptors will still be better, I think, for just versatility.
Well, they get the additional attack for using the chainsword, then they get 1 more attack for using the Warlord trait, for using the chapter tactics, whatever it's called for them.
Legion trait.
And then they get the reroll, which is insane. That means a 10-person
Well, the Warp
Raptor
Talons,
squad
the Warp
gets
Talons have
60
got
attacks.
+1 attack from their Lightning Claws and the charge, and they're rerolling to wound. That's worth pointing out.
Yeah,
in
so
there.
both of them are really, really, really good.
Agreed. So, other things you need to know. The World Eater Warlord trait is +1 attack and strength if you kill a character, monster, or Titanic with your Warlord.
I killed a Bane Blade. I am stronger.
Yep, basically.
There can only be one.
Yep, and a couple of last things. Their Relic is a Deny the Witch, basically. And also causes perils if they deny successfully.
Oh, that's actually really good.
And they have another stratagem, which is 1 command point, which is the same as the Black Templars have, 4+ to deny a successfully cast psychic power within 24 inches.
So if they do that, plus their ability... does that
2 denies, potentially.
Well,
2
doesn't
denies a
it
turn,
also make it perils twice?
No, the Relic causes the perils,
Oh, okay.
not
okay.
the stratagem. Excuse me a second, again, taking pizza out of the oven.
Putting pineapples on it. If he puts pineapples on it, I'm gonna disown him. No, but a lot of these command points and abilities are gonna start seeing the tabletop. We're gonna see a lot of units that we've never seen before. Even Possessed and Chaos Spawn are actually becoming good units. A lot of the Slaneshi demons are really good right now. A lot of the Cornate demons are extremely good, like those Fleshhounds. They're insane right now.
Well, that's in Corn Demons rather than World Eaters, so it's not perfectly applicable
No, I'm
here.
just
but
saying
yes.
on the tabletop they're insane.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the
Like,
first half of the argument.
I did a tier list a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to be updating that quite a bit. I misjudged how effective demon summoning was, and
Is it ridiculous?
it's not ridiculous, like it's not crazy overpowered. It's more sporadic and random, but the fact that your opponent can just go, I'm going to reserve half my army and pick and choose what comes in as I fight you to maximize the potential damage I can deal to you. It's just really good.
It's useful. I can imagine that being very useful. Right, next legion that we have, I think, is the... Hang on a minute. I think it's the Word Bearers, or have I missed one? Oh, Mr. Black Legion, of course.
Oh,
Mr.
we
Bloody
could
Black Legion.
skip the World Bearers. They're not important.
Well, we'll get to them in a minute. So the
Word
Black
Bearers,
Legion...
damn it.
The Black Legion, the equivalent to the Ultramarines, basically, have +1 leadership, like the Ultramarines do, and they get... If they advanced, their rapid-fire weapons are counted as assault until the end of turn, allowing them to advance in rapid-fire, effectively. Sort of.
Oh.
So then they're going to be...
Eldar.
Kinda. I
That's
suppose,
battle
yeah.
focus.
Is that what Battle Focus does these days?
Well, no, last edition.
Yeah, but now they change it. It only... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just... Oh, wow, that's rich. That's rich. Sorry. Kind of having a debate here that I shouldn't be in the middle of. Anyway, so yeah, that's a useful, trait that they've got. Abaddon has his own special rule, so he gives them 2 more command points if he's Warlord.
Marinus Calgar gives that too. Gilliman gives 3.
Bjorn gives 1, so I was expecting it to be more like that. But okay, Calgar gives out 2. Fair play. And their general Warlord trait is also Death to the False Emperor triggers on 5 instead of a 6, if they are within 6 inches.
Speaking of the Black Legion, there's also the pre-order for the limited edition of Black Legion, the novel.
Oh yes,
About
that's
this
the...
week, yeah.
So
That's a sequel
when's
to
that?
Talanoporus.
Talanoporus is when Abaddon becomes War Master, isn't it?
Yes, and apparently apparently Black Legion itself also features a fight with Abaddon and Sigismund.
Oh, the end of the first Black Crusade when
Sigismund.
Abaddon gets Draconian.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been wanting to know how that fight ends, so that's come out at just the wrong time, because I wanted to know that about 4 weeks ago.
Michael, that is extremely distracting.
Sorry, I just need to put something in the bin. I'm done now.
Is it your Tau army? Hey-oh.
Funny.
Sorry.
Funny,
He's
Remleiz.
pouring it into the garbage.
It might be bad, but I'm not garbaging it. Not today.
Just wait until the Chaos Tower all comes out, because let's be honest, Chaos Tower now canon.
Yep. And it was
I'm
even
kind
before
of
8th
disappointed
edition.
with that.
Huh?
I'm disappointed with that. They shouldn't give the Tau any attention at all.
Salt.
No, I mean, there's such a minor race, it would make more sense to give more attention for the Chaos Gods to the Hrud than the Tau.
Except the Hrud aren't really going anywhere.
Or something more powerful. Like
Perhaps.
psychically.
Or Chaos Orcs.
I would
Maybe.
love some Chaos Orcs. Just saying.
Well, that's been
Make
around for a while.
Make Horn Storm Boys an army list and chapter approved.
That would be awesome, just saying.
Yeah, so that's everything for the Black Legion.
And that's the Word Bearers, last and least.
Well,
We
not
could
last.
just skip them.
We have the Alpha Legion, who are technically last.
Yeah, but they're
And
but
the Renegades. Oh, Renegades get their own thing as well. There's a Renegade chapters are going to get something as well, by the looks of it.
Oh.
So, the Word Bearers. Reroll morale checks for the entire army.
Okay. That's kind of decent.
That's not terrible. On top of that, that's the Dark Apostle talking about an aura of 6 inches, leadership 9. So that's a good combo, especially if you combine that with their Warlord trait, which is increase the range of any aura abilities on your Warlord's datasheet by 3 inches.
Well,
So you can combo some things together quite nicely there.
more than likely. I don't know. I don't like them.
I'm not a huge fan of the Word Bearers myself, honestly, but they do look quite funny and interesting.
Quite funny.
We also get given a Nergal psychic power, which is the same thing as the Raven Guard again. Pick a Nergal Heretic Startes in 18 until the start of your next psychic phase. Your opponent must subtract 1 from all hit rolls against it, so combat as well.
Yeah, that's insane with the freaking, the Plague Marines in cover. Like, flat out, you're just not killing them.
Trust me, there's a lot of things in cover that you just can't kill. I've had experience today with just Space Marines in cover is annoying enough.
Oh, just take Meltaguns. I'm saying that ironically because you're running orcs.
Correct. And we are given a Chaos Space Marine Stratagem, 2 command points. use this at the end of your movement phase. Take a unit of Chaos Cultists, remove it from the battlefield, and set it up again within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches from any enemy models at full starting strength. Doesn't say any board. It doesn't say which board edge, so you can set up anywhere as long as it's within 6 inches of a board edge.
That's kind of insane.
It's only cultists, though.
Yeah, but still, cultists. That's a lot of attacks.
Yeah, and there's a Word Bearer's Stratagem. When a Word Bearer's character attempts to summon a demon using a demonic ritual, you can re-roll any of the dice in the summoning roll, and your character will not suffer mortal wounds for rolling doubles or triples. One command point.
Oh my god, that's really good. Like, that's insane. That can help you get the high-level demons, like, right off the bat.
Just a tad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Chaos Primaris might be a thing.
Why?
Because there was like a leak from one of the new codexes, and Fabius Bile has apparently captured a Primaris and is excited to dissect it.
Well, who else was it going to be?
Exactly. It has to be Fabulous Bill, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, you will have also seen the rules for Renegade chapters and the Alpha Legion. They're not out today as a time of recording, so we can't show them to you, which will be interesting to see how they stack up.
I don't know. Chaos doesn't seem too impressive right now, but at the same time, I underjudged them once already. So
Yes.
I'm gonna play a couple of tournament games and see how they fare. Yeah,
fair
should
enough.
be fun.
On the other hand, you have the Grey Knights.
I like the Grey Knights. I wish the people outside my house would shut the hell up. Anyway.
So, as we mentioned earlier, the Nemesis Dread Knight is now an available option for the Grandmaster.
So Caldor Drake can now be a big boy.
I love that the baby carrier is a thing. I love it. It is adorable. And now you can put a real character in it. It would be
It's
really
completely
funny.
practical, though.
It'd be really funny if it didn't do, like, anything to him. It's just like, you could put your Grandmaster in this. Okay, you took away your best character and put him into a baby carrier.
Wah.
No, but it's probably going to have some bullshit psychic powers, maybe different access to war gear, better and stronger toughness or something like that.
Well, if you want to
Supply
talk
armor
about...
of ham.
Well, if you want psychic powers, they've given us Astral Aim, which is a Warp Charge 5, pick a Grey Knight unit within 18 inches, and it gets shoot round corners and ignores cover.
Yeah, it's decent.
We've also confirmed that the Stormhawk Interceptor and the Storm Talon Gunship are going to be available in Grey Knights for the first time.
All I know is that the Grey Knights have one thing that allows them to pick a unit and shoot twice with it, and that's insane for their equivalent of Devastators.
They have a 3 command point thing for combat. It isn't stated here for shooting. So they've got a 3 command point stratagem for attack twice for an infantry unit. They've got a 1 command point thing for when a character is slain that allows him to attack or
That's
shoot.
pretty useful.
And something for Dreadnoughts, which pick a Dreadnought and all Grey Knights within 6 reroll 1s to hit for a command point.
Alright, that's a thing that you can do.
It's not too shabby.
It's not great, though. I mean, more than likely, the Grey Knights is such a small force as it is, that you're gonna have them all within range of your HQ, and most HQs nowadays let you reroll 1s.
The dangerous one is only in Death Just Duty End, which is the character one, because if you Grandmaster's in a Dread Knight and he gets killed, he can then attack.
Yeah.
We're also given their banner, which changes Smite to become a 6-inch range power that always does D6.
That one I really like.
It's risky though, because it drops your range down to 6, so you're not going to be using it very often.
Yeah, but the Grey Knights also teleport quite a lot. So they have no problem with maneuverability. They get within range really quickly. And you can also cast Smite from close combat because it counts as a pistol according to the FAQ.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a Grey Knight can actually win a combat during the shooting phase.
During the psychic phase.
Yeah.
even, and then shoot.
Yep, and then he's free up to fire at another squad, or assault another... Well, fire and assault another squad. So the Grey Knights are actually really decent. They have the Baby Smite, but Baby Smite is still effective.
They're intriguing on paper. I think we'll have to see how they play out, but they look good on paper.
They look good enough that I'm heavily considering picking... Well, I have 2 strike forces, but I'm heavily considering picking up some the Baby Carrier and some more Purifiers. I want to check them out. I also really like their models. I always have.
They are nice.
And the weaponry is cool. And Remleiz is here.
Oh, yeah. In fairness, I have chipped in more this time than I have in previous editions.
That's true. I mean, you could actually play the game now.
I can. Haven't played it yet, but still. I can play it in time.
It is an option.
And you've now got like Legion rules and stuff, which is a further incentive to specialise, and you know now where your Legion wants you to go.
Exactly. Arve Dominus Nox, bitches.
Is it Arve or is it Arwe? I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Arve.
It is Arve. I didn't know that was the anglicised Latin. I wasn't sure.
Like Ave Maria?
Yeah, maybe it's because I played Fallout New Vegas too recently, and they say Arwe.
Yeah, they do. They say Alway all the time. But they purposely pronounce things wrong in that game just to piss people off.
They pronounce Caesar as Kaiser, so...
Yeah.
Well, the way I always heard that game is he's the Kaiser, which is the Caesar, but that's also just his name.
Yes, but the Kaiser in real world terms is German, not Italian.
I know, that's the best part. I'm pretty sure they put that in that game just to piss people off.
Probably.
And it wouldn't be surprising.
No, it wouldn't. Not with the way that character is written. So yes, that, at least as far as your new releases goes, is the news. Expect the Death Guard to be next, because, well, they told us it would be. Beyond that, do we have any idea?
We have a few things that are going to be coming out within the next few years. This year, we have a confirmed count of 7 codexes before the end.
Is that 7 total or 7 more?
7 total. So
it's only 3 more over the next 3 months when they drop 4 in a month.
Yes. Well, this is what I've heard. So through distribution, but whatever. Was that there's going to be 7 pre-orders for codexes. Now that's not counting in maybe Imperial Agents and maybe Chapter Approved. We know Chapter Approved is coming out, but I don't think it's going to count as a codex. I also don't think Imperial Agents is going to count as a codex.
Also, Necromunda's a thing.
Well, it's not a thing. It's something that they've been talking about adding to Shadow War Armageddon.
Oh, so it's going to be an expansion?
Yes. And an updated rule set.
Interesting idea.
I'm okay with that. I want some gangs in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I mean, some people probably already fan-ruled it anyway, so why not?
Yeah, I've already seen a couple of fan codexes for it already.
Some of them are cool. Pit Slaves, I'm alright.
I just never got into Shadow War, really. I tried it, and didn't particularly enjoy it.
Well, it was... the orcs were just too powerful in it, in my opinion. Just everybody carrying around a shooter, even if they were hitting on 5s or just... They would just run up and club you if they couldn't...
And the Tau were terrible.
Tau were awful. Sisters of Battle were unplayable.
See, this is why Necromunda was overall just better.
Space Marines kind of sucked. The Tyranid Warriors were extremely good. I liked Shadow War Armageddon.
Good idea, maybe slightly poor execution.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I'll give it that.
They still need to bring back Gorka Morka, though.
Oh, yeah, we need a proper Gorka Morka. And Titanicus. I'm waiting for that still.
We know it's in production anyway, so...
Yeah, and I can't wait for it. That's going to be awesome. So, what do we have for rants this week? I know we've been talking about one big one, but I think we're mad about it right now?
Not right now.
Just give me a sec.
Okay. Well, who wants to go first?
I was still complaining about the fact that Watch Mojo pronounced Last Cannon as Lays Cannon.
Actually, I did a whole discussion.
When was that?
They did Watch Mojo did a top 10 on top 10 badass Warhammer games, and missed a shit ton of actual good ones out, and showed the wrong footage for a couple of them as well. Like they showed for for Total Warhammer, they showed the footage for Age of Reckoning or something like that.
Yep.
Wow.
And called the last cannon the Lays cannon.
Well, I always found that funny, the Lazen versus the Laz, because it is a laser, so it would be pronounced a laser gun. Or a laser cannon.
That would be because of the E. It's the E being there.
Yeah, but
so it's
still.
last.
I like pronouncing it laser.
Also, did you realize that laser is actually an acronym?
No?
Yeah, laser is actually an acronym. I forget what it is. I did it
like, laze? How? Laser or chip?
LAESR is an acronym. I forget what it's for off the top of my head, but I know it is an acronym because I did it in one of my courses this year.
Yeah. I know it is, I just don't know what it's...
Light augmented shoot 'em, right?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry.
Somebody's going to say it in the comments. I just know it.
I'm sure somebody will, and I'll check my notes, and I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation.
That's it.
Of course, he just stroked his cyberdog and figured it out.
Yes, it just squirted some information.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm with Alexis on this one. That is disgusting.
Oh my god.
You opened it up, Alexis.
Apparently.
Oh, dear.
You brought it up.
Oh, I do have a rant, though. Somebody got mad at me, and they wrote this huge comment about it, and they were just like... They were just shit-talking me the entire time, so I wound up deleting the comment just because they kept calling me like a whole... Like, every sentence was insulting me, and I'm just like, okay. But essentially the gist of the synopsis of what they were saying was, I said the most iconic tank for Warhammer 40k, the Imperial Guard, is the Bane Blade, and I blamed it primarily on the Dawn of War games.
I would still say Lehman Russ.
No, the Bane Blade it's the most important thing in the Dawn of War series.
Yeah, but you ask a guard player to name a tank, they're almost certainly going to say the Lehman Russ first.
Well, yeah.
Maybe the Chimera.
There are three tanks that I mentioned. One was the Lehman Russ, one was the Chimera, and one was the Bane Blade. And I said the Bane Blade was the coolest of the three.
Cool is different to iconic.
No, well, no, I said it was iconic, too. Like, there's no tank that's more recognizable to any 40k player than that. In my opinion. Like, I put it in front of, like, a newer player, they're gonna be like, that's a Bane Blade. Same with the, I personally think the Land Raider is more iconic than it, but that's because it appears in more artwork.
I think Land Raider is probably the most recognizable tank in 40k. Probably.
Rhino.
Maybe,
no one
actually,
gives a shit about the Rhino.
Rhino's awesome. Leave it alone.
No, the Razorback's cooler because they put a fucking gun on it.
I tell you what, comments, have a vote. What is the most iconic tank in 40k, in your opinion?
Well, no, in this case, it was just the Imperial Guard that I was talking about. But in all of 40k, I'm gonna go with the Lehman Russ. Not the Lehman Russ, the Land Raider.
I can see that.
Oh, and Land Raider Terminus Ultras are terrible and should never be taken.
Okay. Which one's that again?
It's the one with 7 las cannons on it. No, it's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 las cannons. And it's just garbage. Like, I had it fire and nearly kill itself. Because if it overheats, it deals 6 wounds to itself that it can't save.
Wait, it has an overheat?
Yes, because of all of the las cannons. Which is like the dumbest thing ever. And it's
all the las cannons.
It's so many points. You can just take a knight or something else that's better. Alright, so what's your guys' rants this week?
I had something on my mind. I've forgotten what it is now. It's not the other thing. There was something on my mind, and it's gone out of my head right now. Actually, it's not a rant, really, per se. Well, it kind of is. Can Toughness 8 go die in a fire, please?
Can who? What?
Toughness 8.
No, toughness 8 is awesome.
Toughness 8 is ruining my life.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just bring enough big shooters and rockets, and you'll be fine.
I do bring a lot of rockets. They wound on 4s. When you're only hitting with 1 in 3, it's not particularly fun.
Psh, get good.
Get good at manipulating the law of averages.
Here's what you do. Just roll dice better.
Yes, Alexis, that's really helpful. Thank you for that stellar advice.
Well, how many boys do you field?
I put 3K today, and I put about 100 down.
Oh God, I put 120 down in 1500.
Then again, I was also taking a Gorkanaut and Walkers and Knob Squads and Painboy and Gazkul and other stuff.
Oh God, you were just bringing garbage. I mean, the Gorkanaut is extremely good, but knobs are next to useless this edition.
I find it quite useful just to have like Combi Scorcher and Combi Rocket knobs just knocking around, because they just help you like clear a small amount of damage out and just put more damage than you're expecting from them. Combat knobs, I'd agree, probably not so stellar, but shooting knobs I think are actually kind of helpful, particularly with Scorchers.
Yeah, I'd go all big choppers on them if I was going to run them. Run them in a truck, just charge them straight up the battlefield, jump them out, and kill one thing. They're going to be a suicide knob squad. Because their 4-up armor isn't going to do anything, because any weapon is just going to ignore that. There's no point to putting art armor on them. Same with boys, for that sake. Like, boys in cover is practically useless. You should just run them across the field.
Well, you can't get them into cover anyway.
Oh, even if you do, it's not going to help. A -1 weapon against them still makes them save on a 6.
Yep.
Do you bring any weird boys?
Yeah, 1.
Okay, there's your problem. Bring 3.
Yes, but then I also want room for a force field, and I want room for a war boss so I can have run and charge.
So take a second detachment.
Then it gets expensive.
Nonsense. You get enough command points to redo that. I keep calling them fate points.
Yeah, same difference.
I know, it's the same system. No, but I'm debating breaking out my orcs for this edition, but I'm also debating selling them.
Well, I'm having fun with my orcs. I'm not necessarily winning. I'm dying en masse, but I'm enjoying playing them. They're usable.
Have you tried commandos yet?
No, because I don't have any models for them. Same with tank busters, which I know I need to get.
Well, just get a bunch of rocket launchers and put them in a squad together, and there you go.
You do realize that you don't get many rocket launchers ever. Like, boy squads, you get 1, but that's about it. And that you don't get them in, like, truck kits, and you don't get them pretty much anywhere apart from... You get the combi weapons in the Knobs kit. And
how many do you want?
Well, to be honest, ideally I just want to get a squad of tank busters and try them out.
How many do you want? Because I can send you about 10.
That'd be fine. I need to get more anyway. I'll sort myself.
But for commandos, just paint orcs with camouflage. Put extra bits on them. Get an IG sprue and just have at thee.
Did that.
That's what I do for mine. I mean, they're just boys. Or you just paint them purple.
Main thing is competing for elite slots. Like, maybe just because I do run like knobs and mega knobs, but burner boys are the first thing in my army every day of the week.
Burner boys are really decent this edition.
Burner boys are amazing. The War Banner, I don't consider it a staple, but I consider it very, very helpful. The Pain Boy is a nigh on staple. And it can, if you're not playing particularly large games, it can be fun fighting for elite slots. Especially if you want to use some of the other units like tank busters and commandos. Immediately, there you go, that's 5 slots filled, done. And that's before you want to try mega knobs or whatever else out.
You need to pick a theme.
I generally play Cult of Speed, but I haven't got enough fast stuff to do it, and I'm waiting for them to get a usable codex that I can get the traits and stuff.
Fair enough. Oh, Remleiz, how are you going to run your army?
I'm not entirely sure yet, to be honest with you. I'm still just building up everything I've got in the Horus Heresy box sets at the moment, but I still need to get some more tanks and stuff, I feel. I want to get some more tanks, I want to get some more artillery, I want to get some more walkers, that kind of thing.
My advice for you, don't buy rhinos, just buy the Razorback kit. It's like $5 extra /pounds. You get the turret. Even if you don't wind up using it, you have a turret.
True. And I was also thinking about getting some bits to convert myself some jump troops. I need to make some raptors, and I was going to get them some chain glaives as well. Cause
Yeah,
they're
you
bloody awesome,
definitely want jump infantry.
especially with chain glaives.
Yes.
Well, we talked about how good raptors and warp talons are looking earlier on, so...
Yeah, they're looking a lot better than Space Marines, in my opinion. Like Codex Space Marines. And I
don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, I faced the tournament list for Space Marines, and I have, like, little to no trouble with them. But Chaos has been giving me a bit of a hiccup. And they're yelling outside now. Oh my god, I fucking hate these guys. That's Naked Neighbor, by the way.
Are you just living in the same apartment block as the cast from Friends, living in New York? It's like, it's the naked guy now.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's just gonna keep screaming.
Just shout at him, "Will you shut up? I'm trying to sleep."
Anyway, are we done with our rants? Does Remleiz have fun?
No, I have no rant today. Things have been pretty quiet on my front, all things considered. Though I do want to stress the fact that Chaos Tower canon, so you can shut up, people who say it's not. Ha ha ha. Fuck you.
No.
I have a book to back it up. A book that came out, like, last month. So, yeah, it's canon. It only came out last month.
That is one book I definitely need to pick up.
Yes. Even though it does have some weird editing errors, like shot shad. What's a shot shad? The shot shad.
Oh my god. You gotta love those
Damn
little
it, Phil.
mistakes. Well, like, a lot of people, like, they argue that things need to be in the lore, like the established lore. And I want to talk about that for a second. The Horus Heresy books, right after each other, are not perfect to each other. Are
we talking the Forge World ones or the Black Library ones here?
The Black Library
Library
ones.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because you've got different authors writing different books, so there's bound to be some inconsistencies regardless.
Well,
Absolutely.
like, in some books, Titans are like, oh, they're only 3 meters tall. And other books, they're like, they tower the skies, and the Warhound is walking. And some, they're like, the Warhound is sprinting. And it's just like, make up your mind. How are these things working? Like, you guys should sit around a table and figure out what is the lore of your own universe.
Generally, they do. There is one particular Black Library author who shall remain nameless, who tells people to stop talking about the Blood Ravens. They're not canon. Oh, look, they've got rules. They got mentioned in the new codex, new rulebook, and they got their chapter master with a model. And they're not canon apparently.
Yeah, not canon.
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah, not canon apparently.
or like when people are like, well, this goes against established lore, and that's stupid. And I'm like, in fucking lore, there was an Iron Hands fleet that captured a Tyranid fleet, gutted it, and put a Titan in it?
No, it was Iron Warriors. They infected a Leviathan hive ship with an obliterator virus, and then used it as a Titan transport.
Yeah, because, that makes sense.
This is the same Iron Warriors that fought on the Imperium side in the War of the Beast, because that makes bloody sense.
Yeah, instead of, Mars helping them out, it was...
in fairness, it did make sense, because the orks were such a threat to the human race that they're like, okay, we hate each other, but these guys are the more important threat right now. We're going to kick their asses, then we're going to kick your asses.
Well, they kind of just nodded and walked away at the end of the Beast Arises series.
Well, not really. The Black Templars, like the new Grand Master turned up, or new High Master turned up and said, oh, by the way, they're traitors, you have to kill her. And they're like, well, they helped us, we should just let them go. I was like, no, kill them. I was like, no, fuck you then. And then the Iron Warriors kill them all, and then take some of the Black Templars into the chapter as new Iron Warriors. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it. Yet people give me shit for saying female Space Marines.
I think that particular kettle of fish has just become...
No, it's just really funny. Considering that there are better female super soldiers than the freaking Space Marines.
The Sisters of Silence.
The Sisters of Silence, Night Pilots, Titan Pilots.
A Princeps is an interesting comparison.
Do you remember that argument you had with someone, because when they revealed Dawn of War 3 and the knight was actually a woman, and someone said, oh, women can't pilot knights? It's like, Master of Mankind has a knight pilot, that's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
It doesn't say anywhere in the law they can't be.
Also, can I point out in Hell's Reach that the leader of the Legio Invigilata, who is led by an Imperator Titan, is a woman.
Yeah.
No, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
But
Well,
no, they
it's-
can't. Apparently, they can't. Nothing in the law to support it apart from that and that.
But I did want to get your guys' thoughts on this. So I was
boy.
talking to my fans last night about this. If, like, somebody as important as a Primarch dies, would they put him into a Dreadnought? The short answer is, well, maybe.
Well,
If they can save them fast...
But,
with Dreadnoughts, it's not when they're dead, it's when they're immortally
they're-
wounded and can't be saved in
yeah.
conventional means.
But here's the thing.
But-
Why not take that sarcophagus, just the part that keeps him alive and connects to everything, and plug it into a Titan or a Knight, and actually have, like, a really efficient warrior?
Because a Titan needs an entire crew.
Well, no, like a
Also, the
Knight.
machine spirit drives the Princeps mad.
A Knight is one of those things that it could pilot easy, and if a Space Marine can't handle the voices in his head, I think he could. I honestly think that a Space Marine plugged into a Knight Titan would definitely be able to withstand all of the Knight's machine spirit.
Considering the fact that Chaos Space means when they plug into a Dreadnought go absolutely batshit insane.
Well, that's
Yep.
because of demons.
No demons.
No, that's just no, I'm not talking about Hellbrutes. I'm talking about regular Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, but they're not regular Marines. They're batshit crazy already.
Not really. No, it depends what Legion, really, I suppose you could say. Because the Iron Warriors essentially are the most cognitively sound of all the Chaos Warriors.
Yeah, they're cold-hearted as hell, but they are
They're
logic.
cynical bastards, but they're still, human at their core.
Oh, and
They
actually,
have
here's
have
another
a
question
humanity.
that I had. Does the Thousand Sun Thousand Sun Dreadnoughts follow the same thing? Like they're just dust inside there?
That will depend on who the pilot was, I suspect. Because there
Yeah.
were psychic dreadnoughts back in the day, so it will probably
Well,
vary
there's
by
still
pilot
psychic Dreadnoughts today.
in the
Well-
Blood Angels.
Yeah.
I think when the Thousand Sons get their codex, I reckon they might actually bring the Osiran pattern forward. I'm actually think they might.
That would be
That
kind
was
of
a
awesome.
sexy looking Dreadnought.
That is
But-
a really sexy
But
dreadnought.
that's just my little rant. I still think, like, they should... Or plug them into freaking bigger Dreadnoughts, like the Redemptor Dreadnought.
Okay.
So basically, you want Centurion Dreadnoughts. You want a Dreadnought plugged into a bigger Dreadnought.
Yes.
What I'll say before we move on, just for that, is as regards knights, particularly knights, you would have to retrofit a knight, which is one thing you have to do. You have to have a knight household around, which isn't always the case. You also would need to have proved that the technique works, because you wouldn't risk it on your Primarch as the first bloody crash test dummy. You'd also need to get to your Primarch fast enough to the point that they're mortally wounded, but can't heal. Because, like, Primarchs can survive just about anything.
Well,
Literally...
You could
the
also
only
just
time-
take an established Dreadnought, take him out of it, and plug him into it.
Yeah. But,
But
like,
also, bear in mind things like in regards to them surviving everything. Angron got stepped on by a Titan. Lorgar took a point blank shot to the face with a
okay, let's just
volcano
say
cannon.
Chapter Master then.
It's plausible, but I find it highly unlikely. Also, can I just say that Rogel Dawn needs to be put on the Mortal Kombat roster? His kill on Alfarius was just absolutely...
Wait,
Oh.
he cut off his hands, impaled him, and then cut his head off.
Yeah, all I could think was reading it, the first thing that just went through my head was fatality. That was like the first thing I thought to myself after I saw what Dawn did to Alfarius.
But remember, Alfarius is still alive, according to the fans, even though he's confirmed dead.
Omegon might still be alive,
Yeah.
we don't know, but...
Yeah, but Alfarius is actually confirmed
Omegon's
dead.
fucking changed.
But then again, we have a walking plot hole wandering around the universe who can make anything happen.
What, Cypher?
No, I'm talking about the freaking Eldar chick. Oh,
Right.
hey, you're having
Gilman's
problems
wife.
with... You're having problems with the Rubik? Psh, look, I did it. I fixed it. Okay, now get out of my way.
I rewound
Hi,
your
Gilman.
time.
Yeah.
Was that what she did? She rewound time?
She did some
Yeah.
bullshit. Like, some plot hole bullshit to bring the Rubric Marine back, and then the guy just stood there like, wow, can you do that to the rest of my Legion? No. Well, why not? I have no
And then she
reason
killed
to.
Because the answer's simple. She's going to Baal.
Well, we don't know that
Oh,
yet,
God.
and especially.
I know I'm being facetious.
Oh, I reckon, just while we're talking about like Primarchs and things, I reckon Mortari's going to be out in about 3 weeks.
I can imagine coming out, in conjunction with the Death Guard Codex.
I'm going to say 3 weeks for the simple reason of this. The Fate of Conor campaign.
Yeah, maybe.
It's 5 weeks long. We're just going into week 2, as of today. And the 5th week is the Lords of War.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, could that be any more on the nose for getting Mort back? But then again, that means you have to wait 3 weeks for Death Guard when we only had to wait 2 weeks in the previous couple of cycles.
It might also be Felgrim.
It's not impossible, but given the Death Guard will have just got their release, I think it makes more sense for it to be Mortarion.
Fair enough.
Speaking of releases, let's talk about that teaser Games Workshop put up the other day with that Imperial Aquila shaped like the skull.
Oh, that. Yes, that was interesting.
Yes. I'm calling it now. It's the release of new models for the Armageddon Steel Legion for the following reasons. One, we know Armageddon's been invaded a fucking again. And two, since, Cadia blew up, essentially. I know it's not literally blurred, but bear with me. And since the Cadians were the Imperial Guard models for the longest time, we're going to need new, generic guardsmen, essentially. So we're going to get the Steel Legion, I reckon, because they got cool look, and their symbol is the skull. So, which is what the Imperial Aquila was shaped like. It was shaped like a skull. And plus, in the background, lots of sparks from welding steel.
I definitely think the Steel Legion is a very possible option.
At the very least, it's guard-related.
Because if you look at the symbol of the Astra Militarum, it is a skull with wings. So it makes sense for it to be the Astra Militarum in some way. Whether it's the Steel Legion, we can't be sure, I think, would be a fair way to say it.
Nope, it's going to be Sisters of Battle. It's not going to, but I really want it to.
It'll be Sisters of Battle when we get the Zote Codex.
Well, I kind of got wind of that. Sisters of Battle, if anything, aren't going to be this year. Or next year. Or 10 years following. Because Games Workshop has it out for, like, the main characters for some reason right now. The main characters
in fairness, though, in regards to Sisters of Battle, they are getting a lot of love from Black Libraries of late. There's been at least 2 or 3 new books or ebooks that have come out that have been focusing on the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, I want to read the one about the Alpha Legion.
Oh, that's also coming out. So that'd be 4 books, or 3 or 4 books. Yeah. So it's not like they're not getting any love whatsoever.
They're just not getting it on the table.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they are, because their army's powerful as shit. They're just not getting any models.
Army's extremely powerful. But it's one of those things, it's like, Games Workshop is missing a huge market with them. Instead of these stupid-ass Primaris Marines, like fucking Batman with his grapple gun, they could have made Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, but Space Marines.
Yeah, stupid-ass Space Marines. We're Primaris Marines. We're Marines with more organs than us.
I think I will be curious in, let's say, 3 months' time, once everybody's calmed down, to see what people genuinely think of the Primaris Marines.
You take Hellblasters, Lieutenants, and Captains, and that's it. I'm
not talking about on the tabletop here. Or not just on the tabletop. I'm talking about, because obviously when Primaris were first announced, there was a huge divide in the community of, well, let's see, and this is the biggest violation of canon ever. I hate this. I quit. That happened.
Although I think we're all in agreement that it was necessary.
I think most people have come around now, but I'd be very curious to see in a couple of months, once they've had their tabletop experience, people had a chance to read their lore and properly get used to them, whether people are actually going to like and accept them. I'm genuinely curious.
I'm kind of getting sick of them. I'm not going to lie. That repulsor tank, though, is really powerful.
I've yet to face them.
It's extremely. It's a Land Raider that can hold 10 Primaris Marines, so you fill it with Hellblasters, and you have, like, the perfect answer to an Alpha Strike army. And that's absolutely terrifying. Or you put 9 Hellblasters in there and 1 Captain or Lieutenant, or you switch down to 8 and put both in.
Welcome to getting dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna have to take My answer to it is long-range firepower, and then take it out with the Sisters of Battle with melta-guns as quickly as possible. Like, I have to take out that repulsor turn 1 before I advance my sisters into it.
Yeah, I get that. And I was playing today, and it's interesting. I think now there's a chess-like element to 8th edition, and hear me out on this. When I was playing today, basically I was trading units with my opponent. So I threw a block of infantry forward, he threw in 2 big units, a unit and a character, wiped them out. I threw units at them, wiped them out. He threw units back at me, wiped my units out. It was almost like we were trading pieces. And it was just really, it was kind of weird just to watch this like chess-like mechanics. Like, I go, you take, I take, you take. It was just weird to watch units just get knocked over like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed something similar to that.
And it means what you can do is you can set up, I mean, this is something I'm sure 90% of people were doing anyway, is set up proper sacrificial play. Of like, I'm going to put this unit here. I know it's going to die, but that's going to bring this unit into play. And if you don't take it, well, this is going to do some damage. But if you bring this unit forward, bang! I'm ready for it. I set you up, and I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic if that becomes much of a thing.
Agreed. So, are we ready for questions?
Let's do it. Let's do it then. All right. So. That's I pinned that because that's the answer to the Dark Imperium thing. I pinned that so people want to see that. Someone asked how long after an episode is uploaded is the next one recorded, and can we put the recording date in the description or something? Well, I stated the recording date as usual, and as I said to them in the comment, we usually record on Fridays and upload on Wednesdays. We're running a day late today because of reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we upload on the Wednesday. Yeah, I answered them personally because it was just easier.
Oh, no, I'm just blaming you.
Oh, it wasn't my fault this time.
No, it was totally your fault.
Of course it bloody is. Now that Malice is canon, if he could have any loyal or traitor / dead Primarch, who would be his champion? Who would be the Primarch?
Primarch of the 11th Legion. 11's Malice's sacred number.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have one, essentially, because GW can't touch that.
Well, his champion would still be the chapter master of the Sons of Malice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the one who bloody summoned him in the first place. Also makes Malice the only fully fledged god that's not in pieces to be floating around the material realm somewhere.
Well, what about the Necron? Well, they're technically like fart clouds.
They're shattered.
Still.
They're shattered.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Shards. You got the shards of the Khitan, you got the shards of Cain, which become the avatars, and you got the Umbra, which are the shards of Ka.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, you got the Emperor, but even his soul is shattered.
Exactly.
It depends on what you class the Emperor as these days.
Well, I'm pretty sure Gilliman classes him as a god now.
He's not sure. He's really not sure.
He's having a crisis of faith at the moment.
I know, it's so good.
It's actual character development, which is good. That's a good thing.
They sat back and were like, hey, this character's gonna feel, and he's gonna feel a lot. He's gonna question if his dad was always divine, if he was never divine, what made him divine, if he became divine because he needed to, if he planned everything out to become a god. And it's just, it was so good.
Theoretical, the Emperor is an asshole. Practical, the Emperor is an asshole.
All right. What would happen if the Primarchs were never made?
Well, obviously there'd be no Horus Heresy.
And a much less successful Great Crusade.
I wonder that, because what if he furthered, like, the talent of the Emperor instead?
Oh, I need to point this out. Here we go.
Or went straight into Imperial Guardsmen.
Sorry, I need to point this out. There is a serious canon conflict right now that needs to be resolved. Apparently, the Space Marines came before the Primarchs.
Yet the Space Marines were made from the genetic template of the Primarchs.
Yes, let me explain. So, according to established canon, I know, the Primarchs were made in Gene Labs on Luna. Luna was taken by the 16th Legion. Explain.
But weren't the Primarchs made in the labs under the Imperial Palace on Terra?
Almost all the sources I've seen say Luna.
Well, what if they were the pseudo Thunder Warriors?
No.
Why would it be on Luna? They would be on Terra, the Thunder Warriors.
The Thunder Warriors
Well,
were
no,
on Terra
I mean-
and then were culled by the Custodes and the First Legion.
Which would also mean that the First Legion was made prior to its Primarch.
And you see the problem here.
Could the legions themselves be based off of the Custodes at first and then change?
Well, actually, the reason I want to point this out as well is the 6th, the Wolves. Because no non-Fenrisian can withstand the Canis Helix. Pretty much. Like every other time they've ever tried to raise Space Wolves from not Fenris or found a successor chapter, it's failed. Because the Canis
Apart
Helix...
from the original Terran Space Wolves.
Exactly. What if the original Terrans were made to stock without the Canis Helix? Because there wasn't
Either
a Canis
that-
Helix from Russ. Russ
Either that, or they did have the Canis Helix, but over the course of time, the gene seed mutated, as gene seed wants to do, and it got to the point that the only ones who were genetically compatible at this point where the gene seed mutated were the Fenrisians.
What if
Also-
he just had extra Primarch juice and made the legions out of it while still working on the Primarchs themselves?
Because don't forget as well, in regards to like gene seed flaws, if you look at the Raven Guard, they've now got a gene seed flaw where they get dark eyes and pale skin and dark hair, but that only happened after the Horus Heresy. During the Great Crusade, they didn't have that gene seed flaw.
Yeah, maybe
The only legion that did have the pale skin, dark hair, and dark eyes naturally were the Night Lords, because that was part of the Nostroman DNA.
Yeah, whilst the Salamanders always had their, as far as we were aware, always had their black skin and red eyes mutation from Nocturne.
Yeah.
So, my theory is the Emperor just had extra Primarch juice lying around, made the legions out of it, and then began working on the Primarchs. to
My theory
continue
is
them.
someone in the law department fucked up.
More than likely, but that's the closest I can come up with for an
Yeah,
answer.
it was just something while I was studying a little bit into the Emperor and the Primarch project, and it was just like, hang on.
Did you double check the books through and through?
I haven't been able to check every single book because I don't own every single book, but
Fair
as far as like the best one to check, does that Master of Mankind make reference to the creation of the Primarch? Because that would probably be your best bet.
Well, it does mention that the laboratories are under the Imperial Palace.
Ah.
Because when they're actually traveling through the Imperial Palace, underneath it, they pass through all the gates and stuff like that, they actually reach the laboratory.
I see.
Which has been long since abandoned.
So I suspect then what's happened is Luna has been the long-standing answer, but as they've retconned the Heresy series to have the Unification Wars involve the Astartes, which also makes no sense, just for the record, because the Thunder Warriors did the Unification Wars and were then culled by the First Legion at the end of it. But anyway, I reckon they've very subtly retconned it.
I'm still wondering how if the Thunder Warriors were culled by the Dark Angels
And the Custodes.
Yeah. How even so? There was another battle where there was a prison asteroid or whatever that had been taken over by surviving Thunder Warriors,
And the World Eaters.
the World Eaters took it, but literally it was something like 100 dead World Eaters to 1 dead Thunder Warrior or something stupid like that.
It was really bad for the Warhounds, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how did the Dark Angels and the Custodes get off so lightly in comparison?
Well, we know how good the Custodes are. They were killing dozens of Astartes per death on Prospero, and that was against the Psychers. So the Custodes were and are absolutely ridiculous.
As the bodyguards of the Emperor should be.
Right, moving on. We all know that some Imperial Guard regiments are combined if both are damaged beyond replacement, such as when Catachans and Elysians were combined into a aerial jungle warfare unit. That is true. What is the most extreme unit combination that you think could work if I remember correctly, they tried combining the Chem Dogs and the Necromundans, and it ended with a running gun battle after lynching the Commissars.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine them mixing, say,
The
the Attilan
Rough Riders.
I was going to say the Attilan Rough Riders with the
Mordians.
Mordian Iron Guard.
Yeah, the
One
super
of those savage
regimented
that was
Mordians.
disciplined.
That would be hilarious. To be honest, though, that could really work. If the Mordians could just knock a tiny bit of sense into the Rough Riders, that would be terrifying.
Or like, I don't know. What's another crazy? Oh, the Armageddon Orc Hunters.
Krieg and Katachan?
Funny enough, I think, in all seriousness, I think the Death Corps and the Iron Guard will probably work really well together.
Yeah, as long as the Iron Guard were willing to accept that the Death Corps do not care about casualties.
No. The only regiment that has commissars turn around and say, look, we need to get out of here.
Yes. That's the hilarious part about the Death Corps.
And then you have the Katachan who, when they get commissars, the commissars mysteriously disappear or have accidents.
Accidents, yeah.
The Lictors did it.
It's like, where's your commissar? He hugged a barking tone and now he's all smeared on the floor.
Yes.
He told him he couldn't discipline it. He wanted to prove us wrong.
Yes. Unfortunately, the bolt pistol's flare ignited the gas, and, well, you know the rest. Right, moving on.
He went to poop its snoot.
Yes.
Deary me. Okay, actually, no, that's a Tau question. And you guys, one of you hates Tau and the other one doesn't really know enough, so...
I don't hate the Tau.
Alright, I'll bring it up then. Since Elmvat is dead, who will be the next Ethereal Supreme?
Is Alan Shee dead?
No, he's supposedly on a mission to the Farsight Enclave to bring Farsight back.
If he succeeds, it might be him then.
Oh god.
Honestly, yeah, I've done a video about it, sort of, so I reckon I'd like it to be Alan Shee.
I don't know enough about the Ethereal class to say.
None of us do.
Except they're massive dicks. They are massive dicks. Literally, in Farsight Crisis of Faith, there's a bit where, after this big meeting with the Elemental Council, and you had two members of each cast, as well as like Givesa and Vespid and some other race, and you had Paul Malco, who basically turned around when Farsight was giving command of this mission to Damocles Gulf, and Farsight says, why am I being put in charge? Why isn't the Shadow Sun? She's more qualified. And Paul Malco goes, oh, because they want you dead. They don't like you. And everyone was like, how dare you speak out? And Paul Malco was like, well, you know I'm right. Fuck you. Because Paul Malco gives no fucks.
And that is also correct.
But that's probably because he's possessed by a demon at Tzeentch at this point. That's why he doesn't give no fucks. So after the council... both the Warcast members are brought in, and the Ethereal turns around and says, like, No, he just goes, you have your ceremonial knife on you, don't you? Yes, I do. Can you draw it, please? Sure. Kill yourself. Okay. And then he goes to his drone, clean this up.
The Ethereal class are retarded.
Literally, it's been stated in lore for a long time that if an Ethereal asked a Tau to commit suicide, he'd do it. But that's the first time we've ever seen it done.
And literally, like, no hesitation. Is literally the Warcast picks up, just goes, no hesitation, instant kill.
So stupid.
And then Paul Malco wasn't there. He just went, nah, fuck this, I'm going for a walk. And then he proceeds to murder an Earthcast member.
Well, I mean,
by shoving his fist down the Earthcast's throat and snapping his neck from the inside out.
Oh!
That's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Then he pulls his throat back, and then he looks around, picks up a cucumber, and shoves it down his throat. He's like, there you go. Greed's bad for you.
Fatality.
And then walks off.
Where the hell did he get a cucumber from?
It was some Tau fruit, but they were described as being cucumber-like.
Right.
This
is a book I really need to read. I need to read this. Right.
And then Scarlords turn up on the on Farsight's ship, and then Pabalco just goes, "Oh look, all the Warcars trying to decipher all the transmissions. I'm going to kill you all now."
Jesus.
And then he kills a space marine by shooting warp fire from his fingers.
Yes,
melts-
Psychos is a thing.
That melts the space marine and mutates its skeleton into an avian form. And then he snaps off one of the bones and stabs another warcaster to death with it.
What the fuck is up with these guys? When did they become cool?
Chaos
Malkael is awesome. He's possessed by a demon of Tzeentch. And he is awesome. And he got possessed by touching a recovered Imperial ship's Gellerfield generator. He touched
implying that the ship was possessed.
He touched some black goo that was around the generator, which is assuming to be concentrated warp residue or something to that effect. He touched it, and then he touched it, and then he got sent flying across the hangar.
Hey, what is this? Boo! I'm a superhero now.
Just like in every bloody superhero sci-fi movie.
And then he woke up and decided to stop giving fucks and started murdering anyone he disliked.
I mean, don't we all one day?
He also started murdering people because he found out they were lying. He's like, I don't like it when people lie.
Now that sounds like a bloody Bond villain.
Yeah, I find it ironic considering he, not only was he watercast, but he was also, possessed by a demon of Tzeentch.
Yeah.
So Tzeentch doesn't want you to lie. Or does he?
Oh dear. Right, moving on before we spoil the whole book. Are the Eldar functionally immortal? I mean, Eldrad has to be 10,000 years old plus, and it seems to only be the Farseers that turn to crystal as they age, for reasons that have gone out of my head right now.
They're not biologically immortal, they just have an impressively long lifespan.
Yes, if you want...
in the thousands of years. I mean, Eldrad alone is described as being like the oldest of his species, if I recall. That's not one of the Dark Eldar, because the Dark Eldar, apparently Asdrubal Vec was old enough to witness the fall of the Eldar race, but then again, living in the webway, time flows differently. Also,
the Phoenix Lords all saw it.
Yes, but the Phoenix Lords are a special case because they, get reborn.
Yes,
so
true.
It doesn't count.
I also, it's gone on. I had something to say. Oh, that's it. The symbol of not Eandon. I think it might be. There is a Eldar rune, which is an eye with a tear. Now that symbolizes. Is it Ulthway?
That's
It's Ulthway. Yeah, that symbolizes, if I remember it correctly, Isha's tears being shed at Asuryan saying the Eldar will not be immortal. If I remember it right. Or is that only in fantasy? 'Cause I know that's the thing in fantasy.
I thought the Tear of Isha is because Asuryan put up the barrier between the gods and the mortals so Isha can never have contact with her children again.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong then, because I know that's the case in fantasy.
And then she wept, and then Vol forged the tears into Seeing Stone, so Isha and Kurnos could communicate with the Elder to teach them how to farm and hunt.
But yeah, maybe
and then Kate found out and he got
fantasy.
pissed off.
Yeah, I think I got my fantasy lore crossed over then. My bad. Alright, next on. Would the universe have been better off without the rise of the Imperium?
No?
Debatable.
Yeah, debatable.
That's too big of a what-if question.
I think if the Imperium didn't rise, I think there'd be a shit ton more orcs, running around.
Would there?
Actually, basically, what we're saying is, what would basically be the case is the Age of Strife would never end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. But also, would there be more orcs?
Well, don't forget, there'll be less planets being taken by the Imperium that were held by orcs, and therefore less, exterminating of orcs from worlds. Because let's be honest, the orcs are, second to humans, the most prevalent species within the entire galaxy.
Second to? That's a lie. First of.
Well, excluding humans. Then.
No, they're more I'm sure they're more numerous than humans. I'm sure.
At least they're at least as equally numerous.
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, at this point, there's quadrillions of humans. That's a real
yes. But you can get trillions of orcs on one bloody planet. just a point. Anyway, the point is, I think also you've got to point out that a lot of the worlds the Imperium took by the time the Great Crusade rolled around were basically in the thrall of chaos cults. Quite a lot. Not all of them, but quite a lot. So you have to assume that basically in the Imperium's place, a lot of small chaos cult empires would have risen up, I suspect.
I have a question on my own, actually, in regards to the Imperium and that. Right. What if the Emperor actually died on Ulanor? Because, so it's an interesting what if scenario, because the Emperor nearly did die, because an Orc Warlord was actually choking him to death, and he was only saved by...
Ulanor. That was Goro.
Was it Goro? Oh, whichever. You know what? Well, regardless.
It was the Battle of Goro, I checked.
Regardless, he was only saved by Horus hacking the Orc's arm off at the last minute.
Yeah.
So if that Orc squeezed a little bit tighter and choked the Emperor to death, what would happen then?
Well, we assume... I think what we have to assume at first off is Malcador is appointed the emergency leader.
Well, he's the Regent of Terror, so yeah, he would be. He has the Emperor's authority.
And there will be a meeting of the War Council, because the Council of Terror hasn't been formed yet. The War Council will meet, and...
I assume that'll include all the Primarchs.
Yeah, that's the one the Primarchs were on. The Council of Terror was the one they weren't on. The War Council will meet, which is the Primarchs, Kelbor Hal, Valdor, Malcador, and I think that was it. And they will probably organise a new government, which will include Guilliman and Horus.
And probably Lion.
I suspect...
But would relations between the Imperium and the Mechanicus degrade because of it? Because obviously it was the Emperor holding the alliances between the Imperium and the Mechanicum Empire together.
Well, half the Mechanicum didn't like the Emperor.
Exactly. So now the Emperor's... But now they could choose that, like, right, we can now rise up and...
I could see the Mechanicum trying something, I could. But the Imperium, with or without the Mechanicum, will probably appoint Guilliman as its governor, along with Malcador, and the two of them will do their thing. Magnus will be brought into the loop on the Webway project, probably brought home, and if you can fix it, try. Or if you can finish it, try. And Horus will be made War Master with Sanguinius and Dawn as his main... and Lion as his counsel.
Well, wasn't Sanguinius the first choice anyway as War Master?
No. Horus was the first choice and said it should have been.
Yes, you're right, yeah. Of course, yeah, you're right.
So I think Sanguinius and Dawn were... Well, Dawn was one of the most trusted of Horus because he supported his ascension, and Sanguinius was his best mate. So those two make natural seconds to Horus in war, whilst Malcador, Guilliman, and I suspect Magnus, along with... maybe Dawn, if they want to keep him out of war and put him onto defense, or Perturabo, perhaps, will see to the day-to-day running of the Imperium.
Do you think the heresy would still happen?
No. With the Emperor out of the picture, I think there wouldn't be a heresy per se. I get the feeling that it could just go.
There might be a slight civil war, but not like chaos invasions.
I could see a schism of Mars happening again. Yeah. And I could still see Lorgar going again, but whether he'd be able to take the same people with him is another debate. Because Magnus, by my logic, would be back at home. Horus's main turn and Mortarian's main turn, that being the Emperor, is gone. Angron would still go. Kurz, I don't know.
He'd be the wild card in this situation.
Kurz and Alfarius. Actually, Alfarius becomes a really interesting wild card. Because the Cabal needed the Emperor dead to allow Chaos to die. With the Emperor now gone... Ooh, that's interesting.
Which means the Cabal would not need to get involved anymore.
But their prophecy would still be, well, Chaos still needs to kill itself, so we still need something to happen. I don't know, that's interesting.
Kill Lorgar. Interesting.
Definitely. What are your thoughts on the Salamanders' lifestyle since they go out and talk with the people of Nocturne? How much do you two know about the Salamanders' law, for the record?
Not a lot.
Less than I should.
Right. Well, basically, the way the Salamanders work is each of the companies is appointed as regent of one of the main cities of Nocturne, and it's their job to protect it.
So basically, they become the police.
In a way, and governor and that sort of thing. And they do... I don't know how much they, for want of a better word, socialise, but They do have time amongst the people.
I just now got
Yes.
an image of salamanders on patrol, and they just go into a donut shop.
Have you ever seen the Free Hug Project?
Is that Vulcan's project, is it?
That's what I can say. Just like, oh, but give me a hug, and then he just sees like a criminal. Come on, hug it out.
And then the criminal dies from having his body compressed.
Yes.
Crime drops to near zero. Not since Night Haunter has crime gone so low.
Pretty much. Right. Oh, this is interesting. This is a little bit weird, so really run with this person. Could Inade be a chaos god of the dead, working against the big four in the same way as Malice, just using the Eldar as their tool?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, he's got, from the Incarnate at least, there's a superficially Slaneshi appearance, but that could be just because, spawn of Eldar. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would be. Otherwise, you'd probably get a few more Chaos cults dedicated to him popping up.
Yeah, that'd be true. Okay. If you can make an Imperial Guard regiment based on a historical military force that hasn't already had a Guard regiment, what would you choose?
Gurkhas. Gurkhas.
Ooh. Probably, what were they called? Shaka Zulu's people.
Zulu.
Was it just the Zulu at the end of it?
Yes.
No, what was the name of his people before they were Zulu?
I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about, not Zulu.
That was just me making an assumption. I don't know. Right, okay. As we know, the Chaos Gods have sacred numbers, i.e. 6 is Slanesh, 7 is Nergal, etc. What happened to the missing numbers, like 1 through 5 and 10? What the hell happened to 10?
I'm pretty sure that's Nakoho's number. I could be wrong, though.
I don't know. Question. My cat lost an eye. Tactics for getting the wife to rename him Magnus.
Beg and plead. And send a message to Segram.
I just saw that. I thought that was too amusing to let go. Right. Do the Tower Theros plot against each other or bicker amongst themselves like the Council of Terror do? Remleiz?
From what I've seen in that Farsight novel, no, but the weird thing about the Theros, they seem to creepily act in unison, like with their motions. They all like look and turn their heads at the same time. They'll cock their heads at the exact same time in, perfect synchronicity, which is really creepy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's no evidence of it. I think that's the best answer. Is there's no evidence as of yet that they do.
Judging by that, it seems like they might be linked to some kind of weird hive mind of some kind, or at least have some kind of weird telepathic link with one another.
Quite possibly. Okay. Here's an interesting one. If Gilliman is back, the Space Wolves will likely inform Bjorn. Given there's nothing to say that the Watch Packs were ever stood down, those are the things that were assigned to the Legions in their heresy, I'm guessing. And Gilliman showing up through Eldar Tech can be at best classed as suspicious. Will Bjorn order, I know he's not the chapter master, but I imagine Logan would do what Bjorn said, the Watch Packs to reform as a check on him?
Probably.
How would they know that it's through Eldar technology?
Because
somebody told them, I suppose.
Consider who was there on Ultramar, on Macragge at the time when Gilliman came back to life. You had the Ultramarines, which was given. You had members of the Adeptus Mechanicus. You had members of the Inquisition.
The Black Templars were dead, who died later.
Yeah. So
you had a living saint.
Candidates. Yeah. And let's be honest, everyone will turn around and say, like, oh, well, because don't forget, the Inari are on relatively good terms with the Imperium just for bringing Gilliman back to life. The Imperium will be like, we're going to give you a free pass because you brought back one of the fucking Primarchs. Because I can't imagine the Imperium saying, oh, you brought back a Primarch, kill him.
It's the Imperium.
Yes, but even so, as the Eldar themselves said, the Imperium worships their past. If you can bring back something from the past, like a Primarch, they're going to be very fucking grateful.
Take your point.
The only thing the Imperial will be more grateful for is if somehow, if Rain turned up on Terra and said, I'm going to bring the Emperor back so he can walk amongst men. Bam! And the Emperor comes back and is like, wow, you're a very nice alien. I won't purge your kind now.
Also, point. I learned this quite recently. The Inquisition seems to overrule the Custodes.
Yes, the Inquisition have no authority other than the Emperor themselves. If you actually
Neither do the Custodes.
If you actually look at the diagram of Imperial authority, the Inquisition are literally like next in line other than the Emperor.
Which is a little weird. I just found it weird. Like, everyone says that the Custodes' authority is absolute. They are the manifestation of the Emperor's will. They are the symbol of his authority. And they get overruled by some bloke. It was just weird because in the War of the Beast, again, come back to this, the Captain General was told by the Inquisitorial representative on the High Lords of Terror, you will release this Shadow Seer to me. No questions asked.
Well, if you're looking at this diagram of the Imperial hierarchy, you got the Emperor at the top. Then on one side, you got the Inquisition, who are on equal footing with the High Lords of Terror.
Yeah.
Then under the High Lords of Terror, you got the Adeptus Terra, Mechanicus, and Ministorum.
Yeah.
And Ministorum take care of all the Shrine Worlds, Mechanicus over all the Forge Worlds. Under the Adeptus Terra, you got the Adeptus Astronomica, Astrotelepathica, Administratum, the Arbites, and the Custodes. And then under the Administratum, you got the Astartes, Imperial Guard, Imperial Fleet, Imperial Commanders, Planetary Governors, the Officio Assassinorum, and the Rogue Traders.
So the Custodes are outranked now. That's interesting.
The Custodes are outranked by the Adeptus Terra.
And by extension, the Inquisition.
The Inquisition outrank everyone but the High Lords of Terror. Because don't forget that one of the High Lords of Terror is the Inquisitorial representative, who's a different
and the
Inquisitor
Captain
every
General.
time. Yeah.
The Captain General is not actually a permanent seat.
No,
actually.
But the Inquisitorial representative is not one set Inquisitor. It's not like the top Inquisitor. It's a different random Inquisitor every time.
Yeah, it rotates. Yeah. I just found it weird that like the Custodes are actually overruled these days. I didn't know that. It caught me out. All right. For Remleiz and Michael, what's wrong with Birmingham?
If you've never been to Birmingham, you will not understand. If you're not from England, you will not understand. And we're not talking about Birmingham, Alabama. We've never been to Alabama, as far as I'm aware. There's a reason why Games Workshop takes the piss out of it with the planet Birmingham. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, I had family on the outskirts of Birmingham. I've never been into Birmingham, but suffice to say, I can't even do a Brummie accent. It's just,
Yeah, it's... The only accent I think is worse than the Birmingham accent is the Liverpudlian accent.
Scouse is... I can live with Scouse, because I can comprehend Scouse.
I can't. No offense to any Scousers watching, or Brummies.
No, we mean no offense. Trust me, like I come from Barnsley. The Barnsley accent is incomprehensible half the time.
And I'm from Reading.
Also, Alexis is here.
She is.
Or is she
I'm a
falling
New
asleep?
Yorker.
So I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
Good play. Right.
Apparently, if I get mad at somebody, I'm just like, I'll just say, like, I fucking can't stand this. I say it with a full accent and everything.
To be fair, people's accents get thicker the angrier they get. That is a true thing. Anyway, moving on. What is your opinion on Guilliman this edition? Because my friend thinks you can't play Space Marines without him.
You can't play Space Marines without him.
There you go. Remleiz.
There is no reason not to take him.
Unless you're not playing Smurfs.
Even without it, I think he actually affects everybody.
Oh.
So I'm playing Dark Angels, so I'm going to run take Guilliman.
Let me actually check really quickly. You can check its rules.
Okay, I'll do a question from Remleiz.
Next question.
Remleiz, what would your chapter tactic of choice be for the Blood Ravens, since we know them all? If you can remember.
Acquired relics. I used to be able to chase any piece of unique war gear from any other chapter.
Oh my god, that would be funny as fuck.
That would be funny, yeah.
It'd be appropriate as well.
Okay, here's an interesting thing.
Oh, here's Reboot Guilliman's really quickly.
Does he affect...
he does only affect Ultramarines for one thing, but he's got his Armor of Faith where he pretends to be Celestine. If your army is battle-forged, you receive 3 additional command points for taking him, which is awesome. You can add 1 to the advance or charge of all friendly Imperium units within 12 inches of Reboot Guilliman, and reroll to hit rolls of 1 within 12 inches of him. And then if you're an Ultramarine within 6 inches of him, you reroll failed. That's reroll fails 1s, and if you're an Ultramarine, you reroll everything to hit and wound.
Right.
Yeah, Reboot Guilliman is just insane this edition.
Okay. So, apparently, have either of you read the book Betrayer?
I'm not sure.
Betrayal. Which one's that?
Well, apparently at the end of it, Erebus mentions the Long War.
Oh, yes.
Does that mean he knew that Horus would lose? If so, how many others might have known?
Well, I think regardless, it wasn't gonna... How to put this? I think it's... They didn't think it was going to be over in one day, even if they killed the Emperor. Like, flat out, if they destroyed Terra, it was still going to be a gigantic and, well, huge war.
I think he was just referring to the Horus Heresy in general, just referring to that as the Long War.
It's just because the Long War, TL in capitals, is the name of what the 10,000 year struggle has been. So it's just, I think maybe someone's maybe got the wrong end of it, I don't know.
It could be open to interpretation.
Indeed.
Just like every single 40k book.
Yeah, pretty much. Bum 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 bum. Someone's asking about our recording. Just like, can everyone record their own thing because it's easier to then understand each other? Bum bum bum.
It would actually be easier, and I could do that, but I don't know, lazy.
A little.
Is that
right.
a reason?
Maybe. Right, okay, here's something. Bringing up a point from a while ago, this was probably me mentioning it, that the Imperial Heralds were very zealous prior to the return of Lorgar. They were. Is it possible that due to the Prowler's inherently psychic nature that their gene sons began inheriting traits from them as they were being raised on their world, sort of a psychic quantum entanglement communication, if you will? Kind of like how the Blood Angels suffered the Red Thirst even now.
Maybe?
Seems perfectly plausible.
Okay.
I mean, this is 40k. That does seem plausible, and at the same sense, I mean, if people still go crazy and think that they're sanguineous, I'm sure, like, anything can happen in this universe.
Very much. Now, here's one. Since the traits of Primarchs are getting more involved in the main story arc, what will happen to the mortal champions? Would they just step down and let the adults take care of it? Will there be a power struggle? What about Abaddon especially?
There will be a power struggle. There's always a power struggle when it comes to the Chaos Forces.
All of the Chaos, like, the Chaos Primarchs kneeled to Abaddon.
They gave him resources in a trade. I don't remember them kneeling to him.
Well, Magnus didn't. Magnus basically told him to fuck off, and he only got Tzeentch's approval by helping Ahriman.
But it's one of those things where the Chaos Primarchs do at least respect him. And also, let's put this out there.
Apart from Magnus, who again told him to fuck off.
Yeah, but let's put this out there. Not every single Black Crusade was a failure.
No,
a
most
lot
of them
were
weren't.
actually successful, and they did retcon some of the fluff to make them even more successful for him. But
they retconned the fluff to make it look like he wasn't a total fucking failure by saying, "Oh, these are just he's testing the Imperium strength." It's like, no, he just fucking failed, and they just retconned to make him so he's not the butt of everyone's joke anymore. Considering the fact that Abaddon had become a meme at this point.
Well, I mean, even after
with the
Acadia,
13th,
he's a meme.
When they redid the 13th Black Crusade before Acadia, because that's the second time the 13th Black Crusade has happened now. Let's be honest.
Well, that was only a flag fleet. Yeah. That wasn't the real invasion.
Yes, but still, my point is they had to go crazy with for Acadia just to make Abaddon a credible threat again.
And even still, Celestine almost 1v1'd him.
Yes, but living saint.
Yeah, after killing a bunch of demons, like giant demons.
And in fairness, this is something you don't actually bring up. Celestine only managed to stab Abaddon because Creed jumped on him, and Abaddon went "fuck this" and ripped Creed's arm off because he was distracted.
Well, Creed was telling him...
Because he was about to kill Celestine before Creed saved her.
Now, why does that sound bloody familiar? Like, the Vengeful Spirit, where that exact thing happened? Ish.
Except the angel was not the one who distracted someone.
No,
someone else did.
In this case, it's the same idea. Individual distracts Chaos person, allows Imperial person to kill them.
The problem is, though, Creed is still technically alive.
So is Celestine, and so is Abaddon.
The theory stands. It's just like that has a lot of parallels to the Vengeful Spirit. That's all I'm saying.
But the only reason Celestine was still actually survived is because of Creed's tactical genius. Just throwing out there.
He's about as much of a tactical genius as fucking Goku giving Raditz a full Nelson. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't watch Dragon Ball.
I don't get that. I was just coughing.
Oh, I
don't watch Dragon Ball. I tried watching Dragon Ball once and found it boring because it was just 20 minutes of people making constipated noises and glowing, going, "Argh!"
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, Dragon Ball shit.
Your face is shit.
Whoa, children. Okay, so what would be...
Put
what
pineapple on his pizza.
I didn't have pineapple on the bloody pizza. Whatever. What would be a reasonable or estimated amount of time that it would take for a new Space Marine chapter to get to full strength after Terra had formed it, given how bureaucratic the Imperium is these days? Like, from the announcement of a founding, how long is it until a chapter is ready to go?
Well, how long does the gene seed implantation take?
If they start young, if they start from new recruits, about 8 years.
So let's be generous and say until at least a decade.
At the very bare minimum.
If you can get done quick enough, it'll take a decade.
Yeah, but that means you need to have found them a homeworld to recruit from. You need to have found people to do the initial founding process, like the initial chapter master, the initial chapter.
Train them.
Yep, you've got the training to do. You've got to assign them the resources, get them a forge world nearby, or find a forge world near to them that can supply them. You have to construct the fortress monastery. You have to construct the fleet.
Must construct additional pylons.
I knew you were going to say that.
I had to.
It will take, at the bare minimum, a decade, but more realistically, it'll probably take, a couple of them.
I'm looking probably more like a century to get them fully ready. Probably we want this chapter to exist to this chapter is fully equipped and ready to go could be easily a century, even before you get bureaucracy involved. Okay.
Do it in the warp.
Remleiz, if Magnus is only slightly weaker than the Emperor as a Psyker, would it be possible that he could spawn his own demons a la Legion of the Damned?
If he wasn't a demon Primarch, then potentially, yes, if people had enough faith in him as a god. But as it stands now, because he's now literally a part of Tzeentch, being now a demon of Tzeentch, and demons being literal extensions of a god, no. There'd be no way for Magnus to do it now.
Yeah. Okay. If the Emperor was still taking charge of the Imperium, would he have worked toward dismantling and incorporating the Mechanicum? I asked this, for late in the Crusade he began to develop and build tech like the Leviathan Dreadnought as an example, separate and secretly from the Mechanicum. Seeing as they were semi-separate, akin to somebody, and the Emperor was always trying to further consolidate his power and the Imperium under his highly centralized system, it makes little sense that he would continue with the Mechanicus being a separate entity indefinitely.
I think it would end up just being more like how it is now, with the Mechanicum being part of the Adeptus, being fully integrated into the Imperium. Because during the Horus Heresy and the Great Crusade, they were separate, they were sister empires that just basically, worked together for mutual benefit.
Yes, it was.
So, if the Emperor he wouldn't get rid of them, he would just fully incorporate them into his Imperium, as it would be today.
Yep, I could go with that. This is one that we probably don't have enough information on, but how do the Sisters of Silence affect Celestine? If at all.
They've never been seen fighting side by side, from my knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Because if you put, because we don't know quite what Celestine is.
Well, the closest thing that we have to explaining what Celestine is comes from the Greyfax novel, where she pretty much determines that Celestine is a demon, but also a product of the Imperium.
Imperial demon theory confirmed.
Yay. So, how does this dissonance affect demons, then?
Well, they disrupt them. They break their connection to the physical plane, but Celestine is living. Like, she has a mortal body.
That's survived being in, the epicenter of a nuclear blast.
And stuff.
And a whole bunch of other crazy shit.
She was literally vaporized and then came back a few years later.
Yeah.
She is not immortal.
Well, she has a mortal body. Maybe she somehow revives that said body. I know when she goes into battle for the first time, she picks two people to be her Geminis, and they are sworn to just her until they die. And then she can extend her power.
I thought the Gemini were just two that were dead and she just resurrected.
No. They're literally chosen at the start of battles. She just goes
and then resurrects it repeatedly.
And
then resurrects them repeatedly.
Yep.
Okay.
She does talk about extending her power to them, essentially.
Right. Okay, this is one that's science versus the warp. What happens if you put a stasis field around a warp rift?
Well, considering
the fucking universe explodes.
Considering the warp rift is in material space, and you put a stasis field around the warp tear, the material, because it's surrounding the tear, not in the tear. So I think around the tear, material laws would still apply to a degree. So it may not function as a full stasis field, like slowing time down to a crawl, but it might slow it down enough to contain it slightly. That's the size of the warp rift.
What if we throw the holy hand grenade into it?
Oh, God.
Then you just get giant killer bunnies.
Could Gazkul and Yarrick be the avatars of Gork and Mork?
I will be doing a video on this at some point in the future.
Right.
I've actually thought that too.
It's a funny idea. Okay. Finally, then, with the recent teasers and previews of new models, do you think that monopose models are the new standard, or will we see more of a focus back to multipose?
There's going to be a mix of both, and this is actually something that GW has been pushing for a couple of years now. They're starting to push more for an easier introduction into the armies of 40k, the easiest being the snap-together miniatures. They experimented with this with the Assault on Blackreach set, where they started selling those in toy stores such as like Toys R Us and things like that. They were extremely successful. So they're doing that with the Primaris Marines so that they can attract younger and newer people to the hobby.
They're also doing it with the Death Guard.
Yep.
I think there's a Plague Marine push fit kit, if I remember correctly.
But they're also just doing them as base starter sets. Not like bigger sets. Like, we're going to get multi-pose Primaris Marines in the future. But
yeah, I think like the Reavers and the Aggressors and stuff are.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of snap-togethers for quite some time.
Yeah. Also, can I just say that the Aggressors are probably the nicest Primaris models of the lot? The new Centurions. I love them. I think they're awesome.
They're worse than Centurions, though.
I'm talking on aesthetics alone.
I like the Centurions.
The Centurions look dumb.
I know, but they're adorable.
Cool. I much prefer the Aggressors to the Centurions.
Yeah, the Aggressors look better.
And I've come around to the, what do you call them? The fly dudes. What's their
Interceptors?
name? Inceptors. Inceptors, that's it. I've come around to them now. I wasn't sure about them the first time, but I've got used to them now.
I still don't like them. Too much plasma.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your questions. I know I've skipped a lot of them, but there's just too many to get through, and you know I take the questions more seriously than the other two do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you also put fucking pineapple on your pizza.
I don't put pineapple on my pizza.
No, he puts peas and mayonnaise on it.
Oh, that's even worse.
No, that is literally heresy.
Coming from the Tau.
Funny.
That's good. That's good.
So yes, if you wish to leave us a question for next time, then please feel free to leave it in the comments with the word question. Oh, by the way, there was a question that came up. I didn't want to address it in the middle of the questions. Someone was asking, could we put all the questions we previously answered in the description?
Oh my god, that would be ridiculous.
Jesus, what? No. I would love to be that comprehensive and have a full list of questions, but oh dear God, that would be a long list.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
have to go ahead and avoid that one.
Yeah, it's not that we're lazy, it's just that
No,
going
I'm
back...
lazy. I'll admit it. We're lazy.
We're going back
You're lazy.
We're going back through 20-odd episodes where we spend about at least 30 to 50 minutes on questions. There's a lot of questions.
We're lazy.
You're lazy.
Also, our answers change half the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, if you wish to ask us a question for next time, feel free to let us have it with the word question in the comments.
And is that all for this week?
Are we going there or are we not going there?
We're not
Well,
going
the picture in the comments I put.
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
Anyway, I think we're going to cut it there for today. Remleiz just showed me a disgusting pizza because people are idiots when it comes to toppings on pizza.
Yeah.
Once again, I'd like to join everybody for coming. This was really fun. And yeah, you guys want to say goodbyes?
Goodbyes.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. And next time is episode 25, so that's another milestone reached.
Which will be on my channel.
Will that be the 1 year? No, I think the one after that is the 1 year.
The 1 year one is actually in September.
Right.
We're gonna
So it'll
try
be
to
election
push that
then.
we're gonna push that to my channel so we can do a live stream for that one.
It is yours. It is actually yours anyway.
Yes.
Because Remleiz is in 2 weeks' time. Mine comes out the 6th of September, and then yours is the 20th, I think.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So yours is about closest. So yeah. So spoiler warning. I think we're going to try and stream that one.
That's
And
gonna
try and
be
get as many
awesome.
guests as possible.
Oh, it's going to be a cluster flip.
I'm calling it out. We should get Zoran on. We should get Sniper and Whip back on. Definitely. We should get Thunder and White back on. Just for shits and giggles.
We try and get Zegrim because we've been trying since like episode 4.
We'll try and get Alpha. Why not?
Yeah.
And we go for it.
We have to get everybody that's awesome in the 40k community.
Careful.
You see what I did there. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Egoqueen. I love you guys. Bye.